Okay, you ready to finish part 2 of our 2-part Who I Am episode?
I sure am.
I figured now that we've gotten any new listeners roped in, and they missed out on like the crazy antics we normally start the show with, now we can get them back into the way things should be.
Sure.
So we have a very special guest to open the show this week.
Oh, that's right.
It's me, Jerry Seinfeld. This is my favorite Louis K song. What's the deal with Who I Am?
I thought you were going to play the Brady voicemail.
That's regular show. Even I know that's regular show business. That's not cold open. What's the deal with who I've been? I hate that guy.
Who I am, it's who I've been, and who I am will take the second chance you gave me. Who I am, it's who I've been, 'cause who I've been only ever made me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Hi, everybody, it's me, Jerry. That's how it normally goes when we start a podcast. Feels so much better. Feels much better than last time. Like, feels things are set up nicely. We've embarrassed ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
In addition to how we embarrassed ourselves last week, apparently.
Wow.
So right off the top.
I've been like laboring over that for the past week. Like, I feel so stupid.
I don't feel stupid. So here's the thing. I guess we would call it Sungate or Sunrise Gate. Sungate sounds like a gated community in Florida.
It's 100%. That absolutely exists.
Let's let Brady say what he had to say first, and then I'll say what I have to say in reply to that.
Hi, O'Learys. This is Brady, corporate overlord. You guys really missed the ball on this one. The Pacific Ocean is on the west side of North America, but it is on the east side of Australia. So when the sun rises, it always rises in the east and sets in the west. So when you're in North America, the sun sets in the Pacific Ocean, which is on the western side of the continent. In Australia, it rises in the east because the Pacific Ocean is on the eastern side of the continent. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Happy St. Patty's Day.
I know. I get it. I know. Okay, I refuse to go back and listen to how it was phrased in the last episode. But we got it right eventually. However, I understood it. I got it. Nothing he just said.
Listen, I
know it's bullshit. It's like bullshit because I'm playing know-it-all on top of having us both gotten something completely wrong. But by the end of that segment of the show, I understood. And whether or not I actually said it right, because it's this binary thing. And I think everyone listening to the show by now should know that, like, I have this problem, which is not, like, diagnosed. I don't know what it is, but I have a thing where I flip nouns and, like, I'll stare at a tweet for an hour and not see the typo glaring right in front of my face. I just have this thing where my brain skips over simple mistakes. So if I say, sometimes I'm saying, like, look at that beautiful sunrise, and I literally meant sunset. But I know it's a sunrise because I know the sun rises up, and I know it. But when you have a binary concept, I'll flip words. Remember that time when I was trying to talk about Instagram and I said Spotify or something, and you were like, what? And I had no idea I did it.
You were talking about Facebook.
I was talking about...
You were going on and on about Spotify, and I was like, I know I'm new to Spotify, but, like, this doesn't make any sense.
I was talking about Facebook, and I was just using the word Spotify. So maybe I shouldn't have a podcast if this is my issue, but I get it. And eventually I got it, because what did you want to say about it?
It's like, you know how there used to be that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Like, the question, like, of course you're smarter than a fifth grader. The questions that they ask, though, are
you stronger than a fifth grader? Yeah. I could just kick that kid around the ground. Just can't do anything about it.
The questions that they ask are, like, what you learn in a primary school setting.
Right.
that
have no practical use in an adult life.
So by the time you become an adult, it's like I have already moved that knowledge out of my head to make more room for the knowledge that I actually need. The last time I took geography, this is actually kind of sad, but hey, Montessori schools, yes. The last time I took geography was 6th grade. Like, I don't remember where Australia is. I'm sorry.
Well, I know where Australia is. But, like, the whole thing just got thrown off because we didn't even get into, like, song meanings in your deep dive. But in your deep dive and song meanings and stuff, there are people who are confused about the ocean and the sunrise and the sunset. You touched on that, knowing we talk about it a week later. You touched on that, and I had literally never thought of the significance of saying the sunrise. I see the proverbial sunrise over the Pacific. I never gave a crap about the fact that he's talking about sunrise over the Pacific.
I never thought about the line until the genius annotation.
It doesn't matter to me. And if you asked me to think about it, I'd be like, oh yeah, the sun doesn't rise over the Pacific. But I never gave it a second of thought. And here you've got a whole bunch of people on the internet confused about it altogether. So I'm extra confused. I'm like, no, wait. It's because across the ocean, that's where it is, and it's on the opposite side. I got it. I then exacerbated the whole issue by thinking I was being clever, and I tweeted something about how, like, well, if he had said, I see the sunrise over the Indian Ocean, we wouldn't be as confused. And then Daniel, you can see my socks, was like, what? And I'm like, because of the thing with the oceans that we mixed up? And he's like, well, the sun would set over the Indian Ocean for Australia. And I'm like, yes. I don't mean, I'm not calling him that, but I'm saying MFer to myself. I'm like, yes, whatever.
I'm disappointed in myself because I rewatch Band of Brothers and the Pacific every year. They're stationed in Australia for a little while in the Pacific. I know where it is. Like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's like one of those things where you're so sure of something or you know something, and then you are influenced by someone else, and you're like, wait a minute, am I wrong? Mm-hmm. Have I been wrong? And you just don't think about it anymore. So I blame genius and song meanings. And but we're harping on this for way too long.
But the last irony of it is that we had guests on. And we're
from
having
Australia.
Them from Australia, and we have them again this week. We have part 2 of our conversation with them. But it's funny because we informed them, because we didn't know this. I found it on the Wikipedia for this song, that this song was written in Australia after Thiessen and Brian Pittman had a fight. So, of course, it's set in Australia, so the sun rises over the Pacific. But to them, they didn't know the song was written in Australia, and they probably heard the lyrics. I guess I could ask them to confirm this, but they probably heard lyrics like "I see the sunrise over the Pacific." It's probably meaningless to them. It's just like, oh yeah, sunrise is over the Pacific.
Right.
It's probably even more innocuous a lyric to them because it wouldn't have any special significance because they're like, that's where the sun rises. But to me, it was more like I just don't think about these things too deeply when I'm just enjoying a song.
They made a great meme about it. You can check that out on Twitter, at Punko's
They mapped it out for us.
Yeah. I just realized I hope that's their Twitter handle.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
So
any actual top of the show business?
Well, we do have a ton of voicemails.
Oh, wow.
I don't think...
Oh, are they all about...
No. But I don't think... There's a lot of voicemails, and we have...
we have a lot to cover
Sean
today.
And Jarrett also called... I think Jarrett... Well, some people... Sean called a bunch, and he later was like, sorry.
Nice.
Sean's just catching up on the show, so he has a lot of voicemails. So we'll kind of like stretch Sean's voicemails out over future episodes.
Cool.
Because they don't necessarily pertain exactly to last week. But Brady does have one more voicemail here, so we'll play this, and then we'll play everyone else's in the following weeks.
Hey Jess, this is the corporate overlord and fellow Swiftie, Brady. How excited are you for Taylor's version of Fearless? Love story? Like, it's so great. It's like less overproduced, and like they bring the instruments more towards the front, like and that steel guitar at the beginning, and then the heavy violin or fiddle at the end. It's just fantastic. I cannot wait for Fearless Taylor's version to come out next month. How about you? All right. Have a good day.
What do you think, Jess? I'm getting you caught in a lie. It's not a lie, but I'm getting you caught.
I haven't listened yet because I'm a new Swiftie.
Right.
So I came in with Folklore, and now Evermore is totally my jam.
This is the problem that it's been in our family. And we talked about it.
But he said about Love Story, so I definitely have to listen to that because I did like that song when it came out because that song was really popular around the time that Danny proposed. So I used to actually jam out to that song because I'd be like,
and that was,
aw, he proposed. He said, marry me, Juliet. You'll never have to be alone.
Yeah. And her parents had said, get away from our daughter or whatever. But yeah, so that's part of the reason why this whole Taylor Swift thing for Jessica in the last year has been so obnoxious is because first she loved that song and I was like, okay, we'd listen to it, it'd be in mixes and stuff. And then suddenly one year around like 2011, 2012, Jessica was like, I don't like Taylor Swift. I hate Taylor Swift. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I have to hate her. And this is an anti-Taylor Swift family. And I guess it was mostly because Jessica hates country and she perceived...
You're allowed to formulate your own opinions, Dan. You can like whomever you
I know, but
choose.
Yeah, and it was about the way Taylor Swift is perceived as a mean girl, like the way she holds grudges against people for things that are like pithy things, like what happened with Katy Perry and stuff like that.
Listen, I'm going to take Katy Perry's side every time because of the RK connection. So
right, which we didn't even know when you were more of a Katy Perry fan than Taylor Swift. No, yeah,
Did you ever find
that footage? No, I'll find it eventually.
Oh, you gotta find that
So
footage.
for the first not counting the Christian album, but the first two Katy Perry albums, we had those in our car all the time, and you took Katy Perry's side in the debate of the whatever you call it.
I don't care, Danny.
You don't care anymore. It's all in the past.
No, I didn't care then either. I was making a joke. Like, I have never purchased a copy of Us Weekly or anything else. Like, I don't care what celebrities are doing. I just, whatever.
So Jessica,
I just didn't like Taylor Swift for some reason. I don't know. There was like nothing behind it other than I'm like, I don't really like her vibe. I don't know. Like, now I do like her vibe. People can grow and change, and isn't that beautiful, Danny?
People like Lana Del Rey.
Who I am hates who I've been, which was who hated Taylor Swift.
Right. So, and Jessica just hinted at the thing that I still haven't found, but somewhere I have footage of me talking to Katy Perry at Soulfest when she was still Katie Hudson, and she was on tour with, or, traveling around with Relient K. It must be 2003. Because it's that same infamous footage of her stage diving at Cornerstone that same year. So that same tour, I have footage of me talking to Katie Hudson, and I have not found that footage yet. I haven't tried hard because I got to go through all those mini DV cassettes, and I don't.
We're halfway through the pod, hon. You got to do it. You got to get on top of that.
I will.
But yeah, speaking of Lana Del Rey, there's going to be a special Patreon coming out soon where we listen through. Yeah. Beatrice hit me up online and was like, hey, what do you think of the new Lana album? And I was like, oh, I actually have not listened yet. And so I started listening. We put it on, and the first song comes on.
And we just started tearing apart the lyrics. And so you're like, let's do this in a special Patreon episode. Lana Del Rey with an I, like Relient K.
It's a stretch, but I'll allow it.
And there's a connection because she names drops Kings of Leon for no good reason, and Ethan Luck has played with Kings of Leon, so there you go.
Like, you know how Relient K is really good with their references and weaving in their references flawlessly? New Lana just can't anymore. She used to. I don't know what happened. Well, anyways, I'll save it for that discussion. But yeah, so you have voicemails.
No, I'll do them next week.
Oh, we're doing all the voicemails next week. Okay,
we got
cool.
Daniel, we got Jared, we got Sean.
And none of them are about...
None of them are about last week.
Okay.
One of them is about Collapsed Along that happened a couple weeks ago now. So we'll just do those throughout the next coming months. For the remainder of Sadie Halfway Pod.
Alrighty then. Well, let's get into it.
Let's get back into it with Who I Am Hates Who I've Been.
The Wikipedia page for this song has such a long, detailed description of the music video. Like, the biggest chunk of the Wikipedia is just detailing out everything that happens in the music video. And I guess that's because it's not on the official Relient K feed. In order to find the music video, you have to go to, like,
I think it might be on
other people's
YouTube pages
YouTube
and stuff.
Uploads, yeah.
It might be like on the goatee.
Oh, okay.
Because for instance, the My Girlfriend, Marilyn Manson Ain't My Girlfriend video, the one that's like the most watched is a low res version. But then if you find the version on the Goatee Records official YouTube page, it's a much better upload. But for some reason, because...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I see it here.
So basically what happens is, like, there's these lower res uploads like 10, 12 years ago, and those end up with the most views because they've been up the most time. And the way Google works is the more web pages, link back... the way most search engines work is the more times a web page is referenced in other web pages causes it to go up in the list. Right. So the older YouTube uploads have been shared on blogs and links and all kinds of stuff. So those end up at the top of the list, the crappy uploads.
Yeah.
But then Goatee goes and re-uploads these videos in higher, better quality, but you got to kind of dig or specifically type in Goatee Records to find those versions.
Yeah, because it says here, Goatee Records uploaded it 6 years ago, and it only has 66,000 views, but I know the one that I clicked into is like a lower res version from, I think, like 11 years ago.
Right. That
popped up in the deep dive.
They Might Be Giants have this problem in a big way as well, and their official page has re-uploaded everything with the specific words like highest quality or higher quality, and these are recent uploads from like the last 3 years. So they're like desperately trying to make these better quality uploads overtake the old ones that are uploaded by fans. Yeah, and it's funny on the Wikipedia because this is one of the few Wikipedia songs that... Oh, well, actually... Wow, The Truth has its own page. So, a lot of songs that we've done on this show so far don't have their own separate Wikipedia pages. But that's shocking to see that The Truth does. High of 75 does not, of all things. Like, I feel like that's as big, if not a bigger song, maybe, than... No, Who I Am Hates Who I've Been, we talked about it. Who I Am Hates Who I've Been has charted on mainstream rock radio, and I don't think High of 75 charted as high. So Who I Am Hates Who I've Been is, like, quantifiably a bigger song to the world at large than High of 75. But it's funny that The Truth has its own Wikipedia page, and it's just really a stub. So I guess people were basically just kind of, like, filling out the Wikipedia page for... Who I Am Hates Who I've Been. I feel like over describing the video isn't necessarily just because people might not go see the video, but more like let's just fill up this Wikipedia page with as much nonsense as we can.
So for some comments over on Genius, Daniel Brandt 4 years ago marked this as missing something. Not sure what that means. You're more of the genius in the family. Daniel Brandt says, his mention of proverbial sunrise is interesting and meaning that the sunrise may not actually be a real one, but in reference to a proverb. As a Christian, Thiessen is likely referencing the book of Proverbs, such as Proverbs 4:18, which says, but the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until full day. This is relevant to the song, saying that he is returning to the path of righteousness that is rising and shining on his life again.
Now, Webster's Dictionary defines proverbial as one of relating to or resembling a proverb, and two, something that has become a proverb or byword, in other words, commonly spoken of. The word proverbial is not in and of itself a biblical word. It's simple, and look, if you look up proverb, it means a brief, popular epigram or maxim. The word proverb just means like a short little sentence, like something that gets passed around, some words that get passed around. And the book of Proverbs in the Bible is called that because they are proverbs in the Bible. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I tuned out a little bit because I started thinking about Pulp Fiction. I'm sorry. Something about the path of righteousness.
I just need you to, I need confirmation on, on the thought process of this. The Bible did not invent the word proverb. The book of Proverbs is called that because it's the proverbs that are found in the Bible.
Right.
But proverbs are found everywhere.
Yes.
In the world, in every religion, and in every secular society.
Sure.
A proverb is not in and of itself something that was created by the Bible. So when you say something is proverbial, you mean something that is spoken of widely. Period. That's it. It's not in and of itself a religious reference. Now, if you're talking about Christianity, if you're a Christian band, sure, the word proverb to you makes you think of the Bible. Sorry to whoever this is. It is a real sunrise over the Pacific in Australia. It is not a metaphor.
So the next annotation we have is for the chorus. I'm sorry for the person I became. I'm sorry that it took so long for me to change. I'm ready to try and never become that way again, because who I am hates who I've been. Who I am hates who I've been. This annotation is unreviewed. From A_Music Nation. The narrator could be speaking to God, saying that he is sorry for turning away and doing what he has done, and that he is ready to do better and follow God. Young Sandwich, 6 years ago, responded, he could also be speaking to his friends and family, as his actions would affect them too.
Well, he was very specifically writing it about one friend.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Sorry, I just clicked on the next annotation and it's a novel. Verse 2. And I heard the reverberating footsteps sinking up to the beating of my heart. Again, this annotation is unreviewed. So, Christian Santiago, 3 years ago, said, in line with the biblical overtones of being separated by Job by one's actions, a sense, maybe they mean God there, a sense of shame from those actions, then experiencing God's grace and coming back to him. This line is preceded by a line about not talking to anyone, including God, which implies he has fallen away from God. This line is followed by a line about realizing the sin in your life, knowing the end result of that sinful lifestyle.
What is this, collapsible lung?
The recovering from one's mistakes and coming back to God and living a righteous life. I believe this line refers directly to God searching for Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden as they are hiding, ashamed of themselves.
Wow.
Genesis 3:7-10.
Okay.
The NIV version. 7. The eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Why would you make coverings for yourself if you're the only two people around? Like, who's gonna see you? Sorry. The man and his wife.
That's a really good point.
That sounds...
I have never thought of that.
That kind of sounds like some stuff that was added later to be more conservative and be like, hey, cover it up because there's more folks in the world now.
Unless it was, I mean, if the real Adam and Eve were more like, they were afraid their genitals might get infected by all the diseases that...
What's a fig leaf gonna do?
Yeah.
The man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." I mean, I guess if you don't know if there's anybody else around, you want to come. No, because why would you have, like, it's like the Blue Lagoon, right? Like, why would you even necessarily need to, you know, you wouldn't have those sort of inhibitions if you're the only ones around. You wouldn't have inhibitions in general. You wouldn't be, you wouldn't be wise to the world around you.
Right. Look at Jessica.
Sorry.
Break it. I don't think this is. I don't think this is like some sort of breaking apart the Bible. Like, well, you know, by walks on water, they meant walk by the water or whatever. It's not like you're like breaking apart a biblical core principle. Like, just because, yeah, that doesn't make.
I'm just asking a question. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a good question. Like, why would they be specifically? And first of all, no. this song does not specifically connect to that specific story. I guess it can in your head canon, absolutely. Yeah. But I really, 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 really doubt that Matt Thiessen, when he wrote Who I Am Hates Who I've Been, he was like, you know what? I got in a huge fight with Brian Pittman. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a song about how I shouldn't fight with my friends. And I'm going to think about when Adam and Eve first realized they were naked.
Right.
What? Hey, Brian, I wrote this song about when Adam and Eve first realized their shame. Will you forgive me? And he's like, no, I'm leaving the band right after this tour.
Bombshoe 2 years ago marked this as missing something. I think it also refers to people leaving him because of his behavior. The reverberating footsteps are people walking away because they don't want to know him anymore because of how he's acting. Syncing up with the beating of my heart creates an image of his heart beating along with the footsteps, as in it feels so painful and heavy to his heart to watch people walk away. It literally affects his heartbeat. This is why he then says that he needs to get himself together or he'll fall apart because he's all alone now. I think that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I've actually never given any thought to I hear the reverberating footsteps sinking up to the beginning of my heart. I just thought it sounded like a nice kind of tone moment in the otherwise the story of the song, but I didn't think necessarily what does it exactly mean, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with Bombshoe. Then from the bridge, and Who I Am Will Take the Second Chance You Gave Me, an anonymous Genius Annotation said, redemption, God giving us chances to turn away from mistakes and towards him. As we know, it's the second chance is, you know, in reference to Brian Pittman giving him a second chance.
Right.
Based on the fact that they
and the thing and yeah, the thing is like this, so this is one of those songs that I think is both. It is both a contrite song to God, and it is a song about relationships on Earth with other humans. It's both. Like Be My Escape, spoiler warning for when we do that, I think Be My Escape is about a girl, a love relationship with a human, and it is about your relationship with the Lord. Good poetry can be about more than one thing. It can be about more than two things. It could be about more than 8 things. Like, that's what good poetry is. So to me, Who I Am Hates Who I've Been is about both. But what solidifies that line that this genius specifically talked about is what solidifies it to me as more about relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. The second chance you gave me, that's... God doesn't give you second chances. He gives you unlimited chances. He gives you unlimited chances. God, I don't think of a forgiving God as giving you chances. He's just there. He's just there. There's a difference between, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to... I don't feel like you have to earn your forgiveness from God. That's not my Christ. That's not my God. Like, you if you feel bad because you've sinned, that's good because you are feeling like you have done something wrong for yourself. You've acknowledged what is sin to yourself, and you say, I want to learn from this experience and come back, and you know that God has forgiven you, and he's giving you far more than a second chance. But then with human, yeah. You know what I mean?
Humans are more fickle than that.
Yeah. That's what I think is like, so, and then it gets iffy, especially because Magnified Pod has been talking about this a lot recently. There's something they've always talked about, but they talk about it more and more with these bands that they're doing right now. But, like, you know, the more you beat yourself up over your perceived relationship with God, about, like, why do you love me, Lord? I'm such a sinful piece of crap. You're taking power away from God. And it also kind of plays again into the romantic implications of some of Matt Thiessen's writing, specifically about women that are, like, too great for him and, like, so much better than him and stuff. I'm like, if someone loves you and God is the ultimate power of love, it's not work for them. It's not something that's hard to do. They're not judging. God is not judging you and choosing to, like, don't take. I guess what I'm saying is,
I get it.
Don't take the power away from God and saying, God, why are you so stupid to love me? That's like what a lot of contriteness becomes when it's done wrong.
Yeah, like who's to, and going back to like the relationship thing and everything, it's like who's to say who is or is not out of your league? And
Right.
like if you're going to use even that sort of comparison, like you definitely don't want to use that with God because he's the only one who's out of everyone's league.
Right.
So yeah, I get where you're coming from.
So just the fact that Genius contributor referenced that specific line as being about God, I'm like, well, that's the only line to me that is not about God in a song that is about both God and human relationships. That's the one that anchors it back to human relationships. Because if you've really hurt someone who's human, sure, the Bible says they should forgive you, but forgiveness, it needs to be more earned sometime, depending on what's happened.
yeah,
You know, you're not entitled to any human's forgiveness.
And going back to great poetry, which is sort of like a few topics back now, there's this great... I was reading this book about Jim Morrison and the Doors, and I can't remember if this was advice that Jim Morrison gave or got, but it's that good poetry and good writing in general, every line should have at least two meanings.
Right.
And I think that that's something that we come across all the time with Relient K, is that it's so open that you can interpret it how you want. You can make it about God, you can make it about love, you can make it about friendships, you can make it about whatever situation it best speaks to you as. We have song facts this week.
Ooh.
Who I Am Hates Who I've Been, written by lead singer Matt Thiessen, is one of Relient K's most popular songs. Unlike their earlier humor-laced work, it's a much more serious, reflective piece. In our interview, he explained that the song was written about a particular incident. Said Thiessen, "The song is about a very specific episode that happened between me and my bass player, and it's one of those mistakes. Sometimes I say things to people, I guess, with the intention of hurting their feelings or something like that. And it was something I've been working really hard at, just trying to be a nice guy and stuff. So it was just one of those moments where I was pretty bummed at myself for being a jerk." And so, yeah, it's kind of like that song sums up all those times in our life where we wish we could take something back. We wish we didn't just cross the line like we did. The lyrics are written as an apologetic lament. The narrator bemoans the misdeeds he's done in the past, while at the same time separating himself from them. Those were things he's done, but they aren't things he'd do again. Regret is the line that separates himself from who he's been and will push him forward into becoming somebody better. The album was more lyrically mature and musically complex than the band's previous lighthearted, upbeat efforts. The risk paid off, however, with the band's two biggest hits, Who I Am Hates Who I've Been and Be My Escape. It was nominated for the 2006 Rock Record Song of the Year Dove Award.
I was going to say, I was laughing. I'm like, is it a Dove Award?
It is a Dove Award.
You know those things that they put in a bowl in the lobby and they're like, come on, Christian bands, come pick up your Dove Award?
Harsh.
It is harsh, but I swear, like, every band's got a Dove Award.
This was a fun little thread that I found on Reddit under the subreddit.
I'll be the judge of that.
r/pop punkers, and it's posted with just like the audio of Who I Am Hates Who I've Been. Poop Popsicles 2 years ago said, "When I was back in school, maybe like 03 or 02, my drummer in my band told me we were going to open for Relient K at a local venue. We fit the genre, but I was so nervous because they were my favorite band at the time. The day of the show, my amp blew and I had no extra, so I walked up to Matt, who was tuning his guitar, and was like, 'Hey, I love your band. We're opening for you tonight, but my amp blew. Is there any way I could use yours for tonight?' He looked at me and was like, 'Of course,' and then got up and got his amp and hooked it up for me. Super nice guys. And I also mentioned that I love pressing on, and they dedicated it to me on stage." Super Mario 1313 2 years ago said, around the same
"It's
time
me."
around the same time, my band got an opening spot for Relient K. Man, they were just throwing around opening gigs for Relient K. I wonder if it was the same tour.
All my friends' bands have opened. I had friends' bands who opened for them. Mercury Switch and Good for Life both opened for... I don't talk about Mercury Switch much, because Mercury Switch is a metalcore band that I was also friends with, and they opened for Relient K at a battle of the bands at some high school in Massachusetts, and that's the last really mysterious show I have to figure out like the date and when it was and stuff. I remember one of the local the band that won the Battle of the Bands played Longview by Green Day, and they had to like self-censor all the parts about masturbation and stuff. But they still won the Battle of the Bands.
I wonder if it was the same tour. Anyway, that night, equipment from every band broke. My guitarist's strap broke in the middle of the set, and we had no backup/extra guitar. The next band's amp was in and out the whole set, and even Relient K had tech problems all night. I think the drummer broke his snare head. P.S. I think Pressin' On is one of my favorite songs from them. Truly Madly Bigly 2 years ago said, "That's interesting to hear because I have a friend who was on tour with them a while ago, and he said MT was a pretentious douche and horrid to work with. I heard the same about a few fan interactions, so I always just wrote him off. Pressing On is pretty great, though. I also enjoy Be My Escape and everything from Two Lefts Don't Make a Right." And it goes on and on and on for a while, but I just thought that I liked those that, like, everybody has opened for Relient K. Then we have a karaoke version over at carafun.com.
Oh, I found some karaoke versions on YouTube as well.
Oh, nice.
Not counting the karaoke bar videos that we talked about with Punko's Pod. I found like the raw karaoke stuff.
Oh, nice.
We'll find out if this is the same or if this is like some other karaoke company. Oh. I don't...
It sounds like they just kind of pitched it differently and did that thing where...
Who I am, it's who I've been.
It sounds like they did that thing where you put
The chance you gave me. And it's got... Jessica's showing me, it's got the actual, like... coloring in the font, follow the what do you call it, the lyrics.
Yeah, that's how karaoke works.
I know, but sometimes I find, okay, thank God it stopped. Sometimes I find the karaoke song versions of things online, but it doesn't come with the scrolling lyrics. It's just the raw file, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like they just ran the song through a program where it compressed it and attempted to remove the vocals, but it doesn't quite, because I've tried to do that before myself for different things, and it like doesn't quite work. It just kind of makes it sound like tinny and underwater.
Mm-hmm, which it did here.
Yeah.
So that's funny. We'll find out. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's look real quick. We're not done with your section. But I am just going to go compare that to the raw karaoke files that I found. So this is a karaoke cover bot company called Age of Rock. I see them all the time, not just for Relient K, but when I'm searching other things. Well, first, this is a P.F. Chang's commercial. There we go. Let's see when I skip in. I skipped a minute and 20 seconds in, and I landed on the exact same note. I don't know.
That's different, for sure.
It's different, yeah. It's a little crunchier, and yeah, I don't know. Do I have another one? Oh, yeah, okay. And here's a different... Oh, here, there was a karaoke cover bot version of the acoustic version.
Nice.
Best of the Year 2006 Volume 2. 16 of the greatest karaoke pop hits from the year 2006. Which... Is this from 2006? It's not, really, no. What a strange comp to put it on, because technically...
It's from 2004.
The song...
It was a single in 2005.
It was a single in 2005, and it ended up on Bird and the B-Sides in 2008. Unless the Punk Goes Acoustic came out in 2006, which I have no idea. And last one, this is... So, a multiple different... karaoke companies seem to love this song. Here's MIDI Fine, like MIDI, like a MIDI file, and the word fine. MIDI Fine Systems version. This one sounds pretty similar to yours so far. It might not be, though. Let me skip ahead. I think this is this is it.
Yeah. Punko's Acoustic 2 came out in 2007.
So why does Age of Rock or whatever, or Chart Toppers or whatever it's called, why do they think it came out in 2006? And I think MIDI Fine Systems Karaoke sounds like the same file to me that Cara Fun that you found uses.
Maybe they got their hands on it somehow because, well, was a track that was recorded for but not on the Apathetic EP, but that was 2005. Right. So yeah. I'm not sure where 2006 came from.
So a version of this song was released every year except 2006. And that's the year that this one karaoke company is convinced the acoustic version came out.
I accidentally clicked into a fanfic I'm in the middle of instead of my notes, and I almost started reading it out loud. We have a Society of Rock article. Relient K's Who I Am Hates Who I've Been is an anthem of regret we all relate to. Oh no, what? I just clicked into this and there's an ad from the American Gun Association with a shirt that says, "When guns are outlawed, I will be an outlaw." Oof.
All right.
Every step we take, oh my gosh, so many pop-ups, so many things happening on Society of Rock. Every step we take, sometimes it is hard to remember that we have an impact on this world because we tend to feel so small. Oh my gosh, and another pop-up. Oh, the healthiest way to wipe your butt. Wow. Wow, this graphic. Wow. So many ads. So many ads.
I feel like that's got to go on the 5 Iron Frenzy Facebook group.
Tommy Chong, throw out your CBD now. Good Lord, why are there so many things in between every paragraph? Every step we take, sometimes it is hard to remember that we have an impact on this world because we tend to feel so small. But thanks to Relient K's Who I Am Hates Who I've Been, our personal story and how it applies to the rest of the universe is once again put into a perspective of epic proportions. As the girl in the video comes to the realization that her specific physical moments determine the fate of those around her, she starts to feel the weight of the responsibility on her shoulders as she chooses to take each and every step down the street carefully. That song was about a very specific episode that happened between me and my bass player, yada yada. We just read this over before by Matt Thiessen. From the band's album, the track relates to personal struggles within the band, but is something that every fan can relate, as we all seem to make mistakes every once in a while, right? With a number 8 position in the 2005 TRL Top 10 video countdown on their belt notches, on their belt notches? You mean a notch to add to their belt? There is definitely a major lesson to be learned after watching this video, as we are all assumed to take responsibility for our actions and the consequences they may have on others. Next up, we have a Bible study blog. This is biblestudy.weebly.com. Who I Am Hates Who I've Been by Relient K, posted December 18th, 2015. And they post the lyrics. And then it says, please listen to the song Who I Am Hates Who I've Been by Relient K. It has an acoustic version and a regular version on the 10 album. In this song, he is running from God and feels guilty for his actions, but he recognizes that what he is doing is wrong, but is struggling to change. He decides to stop running and repents for his sins, and recognizes that he has crossed the line and is not acting like a follower of God. Repenting is exactly what is talked about in the song. It is trying to never become that way again. He takes the second chance from God to try to set things right. I think we all need to take the lesson of repenting from this song. Are you turned towards God or sin today? You can't be turned towards both. Can't you?
Well, no. Yeah, maybe. Something. I don't know. Again, like this is like going against my conception of God, and I'm kind of realizing like there's actually looking at this as only a song about friendships and relationships, or only about your sin and relation to God and your contriteness to Him and your sin, or looking at it as both. But it can also be both in a different way. It can actually, I didn't think of it this way specifically until that thing you just read, but I think more likely is that this song is actually about not sin, not like whatever sin that would be, like drugs or sex or whatever, thing. But this song is about fighting with a friend and saying something horrible to them and feeling bad and wanting a second chance from that friend and thinking about that desire for forgiveness from your friend through the lens of your salvation. I think that's the most likely interpretation of this song, and everyone, including myself, has had this binary view of it, or this parallel universe view where it's both at the same time, but separately. I think it's actually more likely. I think the second chance you gave me is not talking about God. I think that is talking to a friend, and I think that all of the religious connotations that you get, all of the Christian and forgiveness connotations you can get from it, are more like a prayer. You're wishing your friend will forgive you, and you're also asking God to forgive you for the way you hurt your friend. And we so many people are just saying this is just about sin and trying to be forgiven for sin. But that's also kind of a problem with thinking about sin sometimes, is like making it about ourselves. And that's also one of the problems with Christian guilt is like your sin and your falling is your fault. There's so many facets that are wrong there. Like the idea that somehow like you sinned because you're not strong enough. God, that somehow you're not strong enough. And not just that, like, you're going to sin because you are a human and you're going to come back to the Lord and say, Lord, I sinned. I've learned from this. Thank you for forgiving me. But instead it's like you sin and you come back to the Lord and you're like, Lord, I sinned. I'm nothing. I'm so stupid. That's a bad way to think of it.
What I meant by is, can you look at God and sin? You can't look at God and sin at the same time. I have a problem with that because
a lot of people do.
Yeah.
People in government do that. People use the Lord's name to commit sin and put children in cages and do all kinds of horrible stuff and say that it's biblical.
Right. And on top of that, it's like, what is your definition of sin? Because premarital sex is a sin. You could be in a very committed relationship with someone that you're not married to, having sex with them and be a devout Christian and still, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at both things. You're looking at the sin of premarital sex and you're with someone else. You can look at those who feel that homosexuality is a sin, but you can be gay and still be a follower of the Lord.
Right, but
I feel like sin is such a broad term where it's like, well, are you going for more of a standard definition of sin? Or are you going for a more, how are you looking at it?
And look at the Boondock Saints. They go around killing everybody. That's a sin, but they pray about it and they go to church.
Look at the mafia. Come on.
Yeah.
Next up, we have this is quite possibly...
I'm going to get more water.
This is quite possibly the most confounding fanfic thing I have ever found in a deep dive. So, this is a fanfic that... It's not even a fanfic. It's from fandom, which is, like a fandom Wikipedia.
It's what used to be called Wikia.
Yeah. So, this is from Glee, The Next Generation. Now, I don't think there's a thing that is Glee the Next Generation.
No, this is somebody's... I do see this often.
So this episode is called Freaky Monday, and it's season 3, episode 12, air date TBA 2012, written by Jameson OTP, and there's a picture of Joe Jonas singing.
Yeah, I can explain this because this comes up once in a while in my regular life.
Okay.
I can't think of a really good example right now, but let's just say you and me have gotten into Steven Universe in the last couple months.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I'm Googling some information about. Let's say I'm like, we watched the last episode of Steven Universe Future, and I want to find out if Rebecca Sugar has any idea for like another show or another movie or something, right? The answer to that, by the way, is no. She doesn't want to do any more Steven Universe for the near future. That's her plan, but she knows what the story would be. That's neither here nor there. My point is, if I were Googling information about a new season of Steven Universe, I will probably find somebody's weird wikia, where fandom wikia, where it's basically they've created a Wikipedia for their idea for like Steven Universe future or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll make this whole. It's just something I definitely would have done. I absolutely would have done this instead of actually like sitting down
and writing a pitch.
You know, yeah, exactly. But instead of writing a pitch or a script, I would probably have done this for like Batman the Animated Series. I got really upset when Batman the Animated Series was canceled for Batman Beyond. So, and I wrote like ideas for Batman the Animated Series, like season 5 episodes, but I couldn't do anything with them, and I didn't write them as scripts. I just wrote out like premises.
Gotcha.
I would have, if there was a website like Fandom where you can create your own wiki, I would have gone on there and I would have basically created like a breakdown, like a Wikipedia style breakdown, as if the show were real. You know, episode
so
guide,
interesting.
and I would have
Right.
created a fake staff. I definitely see these kind of things for things like, you could find these things for like Sonic the Hedgehog, like someone creates their own fake Sonic the Hedgehog show. You see them a lot for like sequels that were never made, you know, and you'll see like fandom pages for like fake Wikipedias. They're like The Secret almost. It's like these people who really wanted to see something made,
right?
Or they have their own idea.
So
for
much effort,
continuation.
like wow.
Yeah, they go and they make it would be
write this down, guys. Make your Bible and like try and get it out there, submit it, or take your fanfic and then like convert it into something else that you can be like, oh, this is like Glee meets Saved by the Bell, the next class or whatever. Yeah. So Freaky Monday is an episode in season 3 of Glee, The Next Generation. It is the 12th episode of season 3 of Glee, The Next Generation, and the 56th episode overall. Summary: when the New Directions has a hard time understanding each other and the issues they face in their everyday lives, Mr. Shu and Sue decide that Glee Club needs to walk a mile in each other's shoes. So they decide that each member of the New Direction should swap places with someone else and spend the week as them. Songs: As a Blonde by Selena Gomez, sung by Lana Addison. Crazy by Simple Plan, sung by Nicole Martin. Unpretty by TLC, sung by The New Directions. Naked Love by Adam Lambert, sung by Miles Larson. Who I Am Hates Who I've Been by Relient K, sung by Taylor Atkinson. Man Down by Rihanna, sung by Adley Williams. How Does It Feel by Avril Lavigne, sung by Jackson Pierce and Kevin Rhodes. And then they actually went so far as to make the like song cover, like the cover art for what would be like the downloads from iTunes of this.
You know what? This does remind me. One thing I did do that I didn't do in an internet setting because there weren't websites catered to doing this sort of thing. I did make soundtracks to movies in my head.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but even more than that, I would create the cover art. I would make it as much to. I mean, if you look at it, it's not going to look like that at all. I have them somewhere, but I would make a CD with the cover art printed out with the back cover of, with a barcode, like as if this.
That's great.
As if
I love that.
As if you went into a parallel universe and you went into a record store and bought the soundtrack to a movie I made and came back to this world. That was like what I was trying to do. For the same way, this person is like made up their own season of Glee.
They even have trivia on here. Trivia. The episode's name is a play on Disney's acclaimed film Freaky Friday, in where a teenage rebel played by Lindsay Lohan in the 2003 remake and her mother played by Jamie Lee Curtis swap their bodies due to an enchanted Chinese fortune cookie. Was that what happened in that? I did not remember how that one happened because I love the original Freaky Friday. Like that's one of those movies that I'll put on when I'll put on that when I'm sick sometimes because I don't know, it just reminds me of being sick as a kid and staying home and watching Disney Channel all day.
Right.
Like before the remake came out.
We just watched Freaky, which is the Vince Vaughn. It's the original title was Freaky Friday the 13th. But they couldn't do that. It's basically like someone trades bodies with a Jason Voorhees type killer. So then suddenly Vince Vaughn, he's the killer.
Right.
He's the non-speaking Jason Voorhees type killer. But all of a sudden, and Jessica was like, "Why did they cast Vince Vaughn?"
I didn't know the premise at first. And then when Danny was like, here's the premise, I was like, oh, that's why they cast Vince Vaughn. Because he's goofy. Yeah.
Vince Vaughn is actually not a super convincing voiceless killer, because you're like, that's Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when he's that body, but he's acting like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl, maybe she's supposed to be 17. She's in high school.
Yeah, she's a teenager.
Yeah. Then it's funny because it's Vince Vaughn. And they're trying to stop her body, which is now inhabited by this crazy killer.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good movie.
Because, like, anytime I see Vince Vaughn in a serious role, I'm always like, I can't take him seriously. Like, he kind of works as Norman Bates in Psycho, because you can be like, well, Norman Bates was
supposed to be a little personable. He's supposed to be, like, not charming, but he's not withdrawn.
Yeah.
Is Norman Bates. One thing I would love to do, just thinking of these fandom wikis and these like fake shows that exist online and fake movies, is to go and add trivia that's like, cinematographer blah 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 hurt their leg. Well, like add facts that because the people who make, including myself, I would have done this if I was younger and had access to web tools like this for making this kind of thing. You just think of the significance in your head artistically, but you're not going to think of like other things like that. Like producer blah 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 was replaced halfway through because of a fight at the craft service table. And
you've turned me on this. I love it. I think it's really creative. Like, what a great idea! What a great outlet to have. I think that's wonderful.
But I also, part of me wonders now that there must absolutely be situations across this country and across the world where someone's like, no, they're working on Steven Universe season 6. I saw it.
I saw it, yeah.
It's called Steven Universe Future, and in the first episode, Steven's gonna blah, 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 blah. And they're like, no, that's not happening. Because...
That's why I was so confounded when I first stumbled upon this. I'm like, wait a minute, is this an actual thing? And like, they have a picture of Joe Jonas where I'm like, this looks like it could be an episode of Glee. Like, I didn't think there was a new one, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe there is, and I just missed it because I'm not their demographic, you know?
I've had arguments with kids in my life before this kind of internet existed. Yesterday, yeah. I had arguments with kids. Before this kind of thing existed online, like back in the day, maybe like a studio would announce, if this happened, one thing was like, they announced Superman starring Nick Cage for the late 90s. And it never came out. It never passed pre-production. But someone was telling me, like, no, they're filming it right now. They're filming it, and it's coming out summer of 1998. And I'm like, no, it's not. They stopped. The production got canceled. It's like, no, I saw the news. The news said it. I've gotten this argument with this kid. I'm like, yes, you saw the news because they thought they were going to make it, and they stopped. They didn't make it. It's like, no, it's coming out in the summer. And then this was a kid at a job that I had, and unfortunately I wasn't around by that summer to be like, so where's your Superman movie?
You're so well, actually, Danny. So next up, we have Harry Potter fanfiction from harrypotterfanfiction.com. This is a one-shot, and its warnings are mild language. Its rating is 15+. It is mild violence, scenes of a mild sexual nature. Witchcraft. Oh my gosh, it really should just be like a rating for witchcraft.
Rating for powers you can't understand.
Summary: Hermione has done something her friends will never forgive her for. She ran away after the final battle 5 years ago and now is being called back. But as she confronts her past, she learns some things never change, and some things will never be the same. Chapter 1, Who I Am Hates Who I've Been. If you guys are interested in reading this, there is a printer-friendly version if you like to go old school. Author's note: be prepared. It's the ever annoying but necessary so I don't get sued disclaimer. The Harry Potter characters used in this story are J.K. Rowling's. I am not a genius who has $1 bazillion. For any future chapters, this is the same case as well, seeing as it's not possible to go back in time and publish HP first. The plot is mine, though. A whole lot of money that will bring in for me. And then it just gives it says, because I don't want you to know where I am, because then you'll see my heart in the saddest state it's ever been. Relient K, who I am, hates who I've been. I also stumbled across an article, and I'm just going to read the very first part of this, because it's actually about Five Score. 5 albums in 7 years is a lot. The Christian Buckeyes begin this one with sweet a cappella. Okay, I love that. Instead of the boys from Canton, they switched it up and said the Christian Buckeyes. And so therefore, from now on, I will refer to Relient K as the Christian Buckeyes.
The K in Relient K stands for the K in the middle of the word Buckeyes.
I thought you were going to say it stands for the K in Christian.
Exactly.
So from soundsjustlike.com, Relient K, who I am, hates who I've been, sounds just like Jack's Mannequin, Dark Blue.
Right. I had heard this before, but I hadn't listened to it in a long time since then. Because we've talked about it, but Jack's Mannequin and Something Corporate are things that I didn't ever listen to them until pretty much we got into Relient K. And also,
Oops, sorry.
All of our friends like David Park and Poli Sci Alex are fans of this guy.
So this is Jack's Mannequin, Dark Blue.
There's a
I'm going to skip forward because so far I really don't hear it.
Well, there's a similar cadence. There's a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's that thing, the way Taylor Swift reuses that same da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
There's a cadence, there's a rhythm in the vocal melody, but it's not a...
That's something that you find in a lot of pop punk, though, and that sort of thing.
I mean, I see, and I know that, Thiessen co-wrote, or contributed to some of the songs on this album, on this Jack's Mannequin album.
Gotcha.
But I also know that this album came out...
a year later.
A year later, but if Andrew McMahon, I got his name there, if Andrew McMahon and Thiessen were friends and working together at the time, then they probably were just both... into just the same way Adam Young and Thiessen have similar melodies that they both go towards, then I guess Thiessen and Andrew McMahon might have similar sort of melodic phrasings and melodic shapes. I don't know if those are actual ways to describe music, but they might have similar things.
Sure,
working out together.
So we're going to end this section on some fan art. So first of all, we're going over to DeviantArt. And this is from Dinosaur192.
Oh, you found my page!
So, yeah. It says, Relient K, who I am, hates who I've been. And it's a picture of a dude with brunette hair, kind of standing, looking up. He looks a little Thiessen-esque, except for the... It does look like a young adult.
It looks like the novel of a young adult book.
Yeah, it says "Who I Am Hates Who I've Been." Relient K, really big and almost like a chalky kind of font in the background. And then there's this one guy standing and another person sitting with a dinosaur hoodie on up over their head.
And the way that the title "Who I Am Hates Who I've Been" is in this yellow chalk, and the band Relient K is at the bottom in this white chalk. Makes it look like, Relient K is the author's name at the bottom of the book.
It does.
They 100% made that look like a young adult's novel, and now I just had this picture in my mind of how they could modernize the cover of the Complex Infrastructure book.
Yes!
It's still...
That's not the only thing that needs modernizing in the Complex Infrastructure book.
Correct. But, I mean, Complex Infrastructure is shockingly still in digital print. The copyright, the publisher still has it existing as an ebook. They haven't let any of those licenses lapse. So maybe they're not printing new paper copies, physical copies, but it still kind of exists. Also, I think that Dark Blue song, sorry, just go back to that for a second, might be one of the top 3 Jack's Mannequin songs. I think it's actually,
Gotcha.
if it's not a single, it's one of the big songs.
So now we're over on Flickr, and so it's sort of like a blurred picture of trees. It's very Relient K-ish, and it just says who I am hates who I've been. And this is posted by The Blackest White. Relient K, who I am hates who I've been. I've been downloading textures like crazy these past few days, and I don't know why. The funny thing is that I probably won't have the patience to try them out on photos in the first place. Then again, it is a nice way for me to procrastinate. Winky smiley face. Also, I wanted to say something regarding those what's in your bag shots. Why are they so popular? Yesterday's shot was a test to see how many views it got, and I got a lot. 500 views in one day. That's the most I've ever gotten on a photo. So my question to you is, why is seeing the contents of someone else's bag so appealing? I'm curious. Smiley face. And then I love that underneath this, there's a picture from under her skin. It says ranking the most disturbing films ever made, 1 through 15.
I feel like under the skin might be a disturbing film in terms of like Hollywood stars. Like, I don't know if that even.
It's really not.
It's really not.
It is so far from the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. I don't even want to mention the titles
of some of the movies that I actually know are really disturbing.
Yeah.
Movies that you couldn't even like put in a Blockbuster and stuff.
So there's a bunch of comments just about people who really like the picture, people who like the song and that sort of thing. Someone said hate is bad and useless, and to hate is hard.
Like I said last week, my mom said...
Such a parent over there.
Hate is a very strong word. It means you literally want your teacher to die. Do you really want your teacher to die?
Little Danny said yes.
Yeah, I probably said that. Little Danny was like, no. And then by the end of the school year, I was like, yes, I want her to die.
It's terrible,
I'm
Danny.
a very angry little developing punk boy. I question authority.
So that's what we've got for the deep dive. So we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with the music video and then our guests. If you enjoy Sadie Hawkins Pod, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and interact with the show by calling our voicemail line 402-95-SADIE.
You can send an email to sadiehawkinspod@gmail.com and visit our Instagram and Twitter, which are both at Sadie Hawkins Pod.
You can also visit sadiehawkinspod.com for the link to our TeePublic store for shirts, mugs, and stickers, including 2 brand new designs. Following in the history of all of Relient K's logo parody merch, we have a Chick-fil-A parody design.
And to prove to everyone that we are in fact the most punk rock podcast, we have a new Black Flag logo parody. You know, something that's original and that we could really call our own for once.
We also want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/SadieHawkinsPod.
There's JR, Jarrett, Eric, Joel, Connor, Michael, Helen, Samantha, Roxanne, Jimmy Eat Pod, This Might Be a Podcast, Tucker, David, and Brady. You can sign up at our Patreon for bonus episodes, which include us reviewing the songs from K is for Karaoke and reading through the Complex Infrastructure book.
Ooh.
Treat yourself right in 2021 with Sadie Hawkins Pod, the door to a happy, healthy life.
So I think we mentioned it a couple times, or it came up in an article, but apparently this video entered TRL's top 10 in 2005 and reached as high as 8 on the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 80% sure I had this music video on my iPod video. I had every other Relient K music video through iTunes, so I feel like this was probably on there. I love this girl with her very mid-2000s look. She's got that like pseudo Susie Quattro haircut that was popular with like alti girls at the time. She's got the cork wedge sandals, short skirt, Ed Hardy-esque graphic tee.
Right. And it's very conducive to like the non-punk style of Relient K.
Yeah.
Not counting John Schneck, who was the punkest guy in the band at the time, as far as dress and his mohawk and stuff. But I mean, like, the way that Relient K never was like, hey, we're a punk band. They were always just like, you know, they wore like sweaters and like button-up shirts and just nice clothes, and they eventually became nice Nashville boys.
If they had horn-rimmed glasses, they'd be very emo looking.
Yeah, it was never a matter of like them trying to look and act and dress punk. It's just they looked and act like young, and that's why their like music fit so well in Hollister and would have been good in Abercrombie if Christians hadn't boycotted them for it.
I have a picture also. Oh my gosh. So I have a picture that I took of Danny on the roof of one of his New York apartments where he looks just like Hoops in this video. I swear. It's so funny.
All right. I kind of know what picture you're talking about, but I can't really imagine. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. Sure. You think I look like Hoops in that picture if you say so? All right. I don't see it, but okay.
The dark hair. I don't know. It's cute. You're both cute. This music video reminds me of the Patton Oswalt bit where we also like Carvel. We talked about I think we talked about that other Patton Oswalt bit in the part 1, but it reminds me of when he's talking about 80s metal videos and how there's always a hot chick doing something and then miles away the band is rocking out in like an abandoned factory. It's like this, like the band's miles away from the girl.
Right. So this is directed by John Watts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who
that's
is now
right.
the director of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And it's funny that, she's a girl with a superpower. And how many other superpowered type things did John Watts direct before he started directing Spider-Man movies? Meanwhile, as we mentioned in other places, and that we're possibly mentioning next week with our guest, Mark Webb directed the video for Must Have Done Something Right.
Right.
And he directed the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But I always assumed that...
Why isn't Relient K in a Spider-Man movie? This is remember how people were speculating that NSYNC was going to be in Star Wars Episode 2?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Man, very, very young teen Jessica would have been so into that.
That's a thing what I was talking about in a pre-internet world of what we have now. The internet obviously was around 2002, but not the kind of internet we have now where a fact like that gets around, you could see teens and younger arguing about that. It's no,
right.
NSYNC's in Episode 2.
Yeah.
They're in it. It's no, they're not. It was a rumor that didn't turn out to be true. It's no, you don't know. They're aliens in the background. It's no, they're not. So the fact that Mark Webb directed Must Have Done Something Right, I always assumed was more in line with the fact that he also directed 500 Days of Summer. Because Mark Webb has never made a lot of sense because John Watts is a superhero director. He's come off totally as a superhero director because he's also doing the Fantastic Four movie. Mm. And those, whether you like him or not, and I don't necessarily like the idea that Spider-Man is kind of the second hand to everybody. He's still trying to catch up and he always needs a mentor in every story. I wish whatever. I'm not picking apart the stories, but those are superhero movies. They're directed like comic books. The Andrew Garfield movies are oddly directed like emo music videos, starring a guy that happens to have spider powers. You know what I mean?
It's not directed like the most emo music video of them all, though, Spider-Man 3.
Right. Strangely, somehow... I would say that the Andrew Garfield movies are more akin to a post 2000s emo culture concept. How come we never got the Spider-Man that's Midwest emo, original emo with horn rim glasses and a sweater, and he's jamming out in a post hardcore style?
Maybe we'll skip forward a few years, and that'll be the sort of scene that the Tom Holland Spider-Man is into.
That would be great. I love it. Or maybe Sam Raimi will finally direct the Relient K video we've been waiting for.
Nice.
I don't think I ever really saw this video at any point specifically. If I did, maybe I checked it out for a minute. But I don't have any real strong nostalgic tie to this video. I do, however, have that thing in the back of my head, which I assume a lot of people must have, where after that first intro of the song starts, and there's that right before the chorus begins, sometimes I expect that pause where the girl, because in the music video, the song pauses when the girl realizes she has this time warping power.
Yeah.
And there's other music videos that have similar things like Responsibility by MXPX, where it's basically a parody of 80s and 70s teen sex comedies, minus the sex part, but like Caddyshack and Animal House in a little 3-minute movie. And there's a point where they're hitting, they're like fake sword fighting with golf clubs, and you hear sword fighting sounds. So it's like sometimes in my mind I hear that sound effect in the song, even though it's not on the album. So same way. Sometimes I hear this song and I'm expecting that long pause before the first chorus breaks in, and she's like now using her powers and stuff.
Speaking of music video directors, when are we going to talk about the Snyder Cut?
Oh, I hope we can have John Schneck on to do that. I don't know if it'd be a Patreon or... I did ask, I said, hey, are you interested in talking about the Snyder Cut on our podcast? And he said yes, but he doesn't know when he's going to get a chance to watch it. And I'm like, totally understand. It's 4 hours long. Mm-hmm. But hey, this song, just like the Snyder Cut, this music video, also in 4:3.
Facts.
So yeah, I just don't have like a very strong nostalgic or emotional connection to this video. I probably have more of a connection to the Must Have Done Something Right music video. Because when we talked about that song and we watched that video, I remembered that video more.
Right.
The videos that existed from the first 3 Gears, I used to watch those a ton. I had really low compression, real players or MOV files of those. But when it comes to the John's era and afterwards, it's really just Must Have Done Something Right. It's the only video that I ever really watched. And then there's Best Thing.
Right.
Which is the one where we got confused and thought we haven't even done that song yet.
Yeah.
But I think at some point...
That's the one where it's not on YouTube.
It's like MXPX recently had this problem fixed, but it's like Chick Magnet. You couldn't have the music video for Chick Magnet on YouTube, not even their official page, because the record label just like blanket shut that video down, just probably by mistake.
Uh-huh.
Like they just turned off all possible licenses for that video, and then MXPX had to like untangle that themselves.
Oof.
The Best Thing music video has the same problem on YouTube, where I think if like Goatee or Relient K uploaded themselves, it'd be blocked. So in a moment, we'll get to the second half of our talk with Punko's Pod, and we'll talk more about a couple more covers and some fan videos. But I sent them a huge list of stuff, and we didn't get to all of it.
Right.
So last week, we played a little bit of the Capitol acoustic version, which I want to re-emphasize is not the same as the acoustic version found on Burn the B-Sides.
Right.
Or found on Mm-hmm. We said how this acoustic version of Who I Am Hates Who I've Been is on Punko's Pod, Punko's Pop, Punko's Acoustic Volume 2.
Yes.
It's on Bird and the B-Sides, and I forgot, it's also on 10.
Yes.
On 10 is also one of the Capitol tracks. One of the
okay.
I think it's I So Hate Consequences.
Gotcha.
Like all of the Capitol Live at Capitol show is pretty much just in video form. You just get it by watching videos on YouTube or putting in the special edition DVD of 5 Score. But the only place where one track from the Capitol production is like on Spotify and on an album is all the bonus tracks from 10 is the I So Hate Consequences Capitol acoustic. So just re-emphasizing that the acoustic version that people often hear of this song is different from the Capitol one. So definitely go check them out. So let's listen to a little bit of the live album version. So this is from the 2009 portion of the live album.
Same goes for you guys. See you next time, maybe, hopefully.
No!
I watch the proverbial sunrise. You might think I'm losing my mind, but I will shy away from the specifics, 'cause I don't want you to know where I am. 'Cause then you'll see my heart in the saddest state it's ever been. And this is no place to try and live my life. That's exactly what I lost.
this is weird because it's 2009, and you would think this is like the 2016 half of the live album.
Yeah.
Because he's doing the wistful, breathy version of Matt
Right.
Thiessen's, of his vocals that you don't really associate with 2009.
Yeah.
It sounds good musically, but
yeah.
I'm not crazy about Thiessen's vocals in this performance.
Same.
So instead of hearing that, mid-era version, let's go hear what might possibly be the earliest known live version of the song. And this is from Cornerstone 2004. This was just uploaded this year, 2021.
Nice.
Someone uploaded all of the 2004 Relient K Cornerstone. And this is so interesting because I suggest people go kind of check it out. I was getting these strange vibes that I hadn't really thought about in all the time we've done this podcast, of this period where they were shifting into the period, and how that really was a seismic shift for the band that you don't necessarily think about.
Yeah, you're right.
But to actually hear a set list that is mostly first 3 album songs, and then hear them play Who I Am Hates Who I've Been in the middle, it's then that I really got the sense.
Yeah, what a difference
Yeah. Those songs are. I kind of know that I knew in practice that they were, but it was really seeing this show. And at the time, I probably didn't think a lot of it.
Right.
I've talked about how definitely felt like a change, but it felt natural. And how 5 Score was a bigger change for me, and I wasn't immediately on board with it. But yeah, go check it out, see if you have the same kind of connection to it that I did. But here they are playing with Brian on bass. So like this might be one of the only live versions recorded known of where they're playing Who I Am Hates Who I've Been as a 4-piece.
I watch the proverbial sunrise coming up over the Pacific, and you might think I'm losing my mind, but I will shy away from the specifics, cause I don't want you to know.
Oh yeah, we've been here before because he's got this, or we've seen the same piano before because he's got the NoFX sticker on the side.
Oh right. This is the same piano that they took to Florida to Hard Rock Cafe.
There you go.
My life.
And it's also funny to see him shift to piano and then back to guitar when they're still a 4-piece. And you can see, and now it makes a lot of sense for why this was the plan for the band live, that they needed 5 members to help fill out when Thiessen wanted to play more piano.
Right.
But so few of the other songs in this set list rely on piano, because piano was not a big part of those first 3 albums.
There's no crowd surfing. Amazing.
And the crowd reaction is tepid at best. They're like, oh, new song.
Right.
I'll go grab a non-alcoholic beer or whatever they sold at Cornerstone. And so there's not a ton of videos from, Air for Free era, but there is one from the Uprise Festival in Pennsylvania. And strangely, it sounds very similar to the 2009 version at Rocketown on the live album, so I guess we won't play it.
Speaking of Taylor Swift.
What?
She's from Pennsylvania.
Oh. Okay.
I'm bringing it back around, Danny.
That works for me because, living on the East Coast my whole life, Pennsylvania, to me, I don't know if this is true for a lot of people, but when you drive to Florida, Pennsylvania is where the South began. You know what I mean? Because there's a very strong difference between New England and the South culturally.
Right.
And to me, I'm mostly thinking like billboards, like religious billboards, and food. Those are the 2 things on a road trip that are the most clear. And radio also, before you had like iPods in your car and eventually streaming on your car. But yeah, it was in Pennsylvania where you'd start to see sweet tea and barbecue and pro-life billboards.
It's so funny because I don't even think of Pennsylvania that way. You know what? I guess it's more the rural thing. It's not southern, it's rural. Like how Maine is rural, so you get that sort of southern vibe there sometimes.
But the ruralness of New Hampshire and Maine are not exactly the kind of ruralness you get in the South or
Right.
in the Midwest or something.
But I don't feel like Pennsylvania, you'd get that much of that Southern feel as much as you get that sort of like just general rural feel. Because it's I think of it as being like so close to like New York and New Jersey and like places like that.
Right. Well, like I said,
But Amish country, so.
Yeah, but back in the day, if like I was driving to or from Florida, I'd be like, oh, I'm either leaving or arriving in Pennsylvania, depending on which direction I'm going. So I'd be like, last time for a sweet tea from, because once you get into New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, you're not going to find sweet tea easily.
Sweet tea in the summer. Cross my heart, won't tell no other.
So there are 2 songs by other bands called Who I Am, Hates Who I've Been, and they're recent songs. So I really feel like they are these artists specifically trying to leech off of Relient K. Because you can't, no, I'm serious, you can't copyright song titles. That's one of those few things that you actually can't copyright. Just like how you can't copyright recipes.
Right.
And there's some other stuff you like infamously can't copyright or trademark. I can't think of it right now, but there's a few things that like you'd think you'd be able to copyright or trademark them, but you can't. Song titles is one. Anyone can use any song title they want. If you want to write a song called Here Comes the Sun or Baby You Can Drive My Car and it has nothing to do with the Beatles songs, you can absolutely do that.
Yep.
If you're a band and you want more protections on certain song titles that you have to like trademark them through other means, like through t-shirts or through DVD, movies, documentaries, other concepts. But people can still...
Although movie titles often have the same title as like...
That's part of the reason why
100
movie
things.
titles often just steal known song titles, is
Right.
because those song titles couldn't be copywritten on their own. So I'm not going to play... One of them is a punk band, like an actual straight-ahead punk band. I don't want to promote them. Because this other one is like an EDM, like it's like a spoken hip-hop style spoken word track with some EDM dreamy background music by an artist called Coop, K-O-O-P. I'll promote them. We won't listen to it, but you can go check them out. This other one is a punk band that's like a snotty, like street punk style thing with a song called Who I Am, Hates Who I've Been. Like, who are you kidding? Who are you joking? We know who you got this from. I'm not even going to say their name. I don't want to promote them at all. So, we talked about this with Punko's Pod, but we didn't really play it.
Danny, you're such like a punk and ska gatekeeper, but like looking at you, no one would ever guess that.
But I don't have any power to gatekeep. All I can do is say my opinions of gatekeeping. I'm not going to keep anyone out of things.
Pre-COVID, we used to go to punk shows all the time, and I'd tell friends or whomever about it, and they would be like, look at me like, wait, you and Danny go to punk shows all the time? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah.
So... This one very strange thing is there is one of those coverbot style. I don't know if it's actually coverbot, but it looks coverbotish to me. The smooth jazz tribute to the Clark Sisters, and the Clark Sisters are apparently, which I was not familiar with, a gospel group.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, did they just fix it? Did they fix it between when I went and looked? So. There was this... you know what? Maybe never mind, but I just want to go look real quick.
Oh, man, I was looking forward to some smooth jazz.
Okay, well, it's still here. What's this? Okay, you know what? They might be fixing it. Basically, this is very confusing. A smooth jazz tribute to a female gospel group. This track, the first track, was said, Who I Am, Hates Who I've Been, Relient K cover, featuring the piano tribute players. So I'm like,
whoa.
Weird. I'm like, weird. Okay, so this jazz cover bot group that's doing a known gospel group just kind of opened with a little collab track with the piano tribute players doing a Relient K song to start off their album, and then they'll end the CD. The rest of the CD will be Clark Sisters tribute. Weird. Okay, whatever. This is what it sounds like. It's not Who I Am, Hates Who I've Been.
I love it. I don't know what it is, but it's great.
Well, between when I did the research and now when we're recording, on the YouTube upload of this same song, they changed the name to Blessed and Highly Favored. So it was a weird, like, metadata incorrect thing.
Yeah.
And they fixed it on YouTube, but they haven't fixed it on Spotify yet. So that actually answers that question entirely for me. And there's just a few other covers, two more or three more that we didn't cover with Punko's Pod that I want to talk about. Here is a house remix by Kristen S. Jessica's raising the roof.
I'm into it. I'm raving over here.
You know that, I know you don't know this sort of thing, but like at Christian festivals, like the ability of Christian kids to praise and worship to anything, this is easy. This is easy to praise and worship to. We've seen footage of kids praising and worshiping to Softer to Me. This at least has a worshipy vibe.
This is great. I'm into this.
Yeah. So again, this is Kristen with a K, S.
I want them to take this and make it like lo-fi. That'd be awesome.
Well, what's more lo-fi? I don't know if this counts as lo-fi, but here's an electronic pop remix with some 8-bit elements by Clay Pierce.
Ooh.
So this is Clay Pierce with the Freeze remix of Who I Am Hates Who I've Been. Maybe it starts out real slow. Oh, it's almost 6 minutes long. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want you to know where I am. 'Cause then you'll see my heart in the saddest thing it's ever been.
So there's multiple movements and stuff in there. There's another EDM remix.
Nice. Lots of EDM on this track. Oh boy, I can't wait to get to Be My Escape next week.
But there's this one acoustic cover that I really wanted to play because it's one of the most transformative acoustic covers
Nice.
that I've ever come across. So here we go. This is by the Barons Jelly Music. And there's a lot of other great covers, but we've been running long. So this is the best acoustic cover I've seen.
Sorry.
As Jessica
Pours more water.
pours
Sorry.
cool water into her hot tea. And as I said, this is, it's reminiscent to me of Zeke Power, where Zeke Power can take a Relient K song with just an acoustic guitar and really add something new to it, not just play it straight ahead. This is two girls. They're playing acoustic guitar.
Ooh, I was like, you be careful with where that sentence is going because I don't want to see that video.
Well, it's two girls, one guitar.
I watched the proverbial sunrise coming up over the Pacific, and you might think I'm losing my mind, but I wish I were away from the specifics, 'cause I don't want you to know where I am, 'cause then you'll see my heart in the saddest state it's ever been. This is no place to try and live my life. Step right there, that's exactly where I lost it. See that line where I never should have crossed it. Step right there where I never should have said that. It's a very moment that I wish that I could take back. I'm sorry for the person I became.
Da-na-na-na.
This is so good.
It's really good.
So good.
And they're not doing the whole song because it's only a minute and a half. We might as well play the whole thing. So,
Post this for sure because this is so good.
It's only from 7 months ago, and it has less than
Wow.
100 views.
Yeah, give them a like as well, because that's really good.
It's
Do they
amazing.
do any other Relient K songs?
Let's find out. They have What We Are by Lizzie McAlpin. Whoop, something else starting on its own. They
Oh,
have
that sounds a lot like the song we're currently covering, Dan. I don't know about this Lizzie McAlpin.
They cover Never Really Over by Katy Perry. They cover Oh Fly On by Coldplay. Before the Dawn by Tori Kelly. Breathin' by Ariana Grande. Meet Again. Wait, that's an original song called Meet Again.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, and a couple
Let's hear some of
more
their original
songs.
stuff.
Sure. I'll name some titles of their original songs, and you tell me which one you want. 10 Years Later, Piece of Art, The Beauty Behind, or Meet Again.
Ooh, let's go Beauty Behind.
And the cover art for this is really nice. It's the two of them,
yeah.
like, wading.
Into the ocean.
ocean.
They're just like ankles deep. This is very pretty.
This is from 2 years ago, and this has 842 listens on YouTube.
You wake up this morning on a sunny day, but your sky is already gray. 'Cause every day is just the same, and you want to turn the page. It feels like you can breathe. You're trying hard, but keep on falling.
This is nice. This is good.
Yeah, this is really nice. Drop another like for them.
I will.
Good stuff.
Very good. Well, that is Who I Am Hates Who I've Been.
Danny,
And
do you
Who
like-
I Am does like Baron's Jelly.
Does Who You Are like this song more or less or the same as you did before?
Well, Who I've Been liked this song quite a lot. So Who I Am didn't really particularly end up loving the song anymore.
Same.
So
yeah, same.
I like this song about the same. And like as I said last week, it's such a ubiquitous Relient K song that it kind of unfortunately becomes wallpaper at a point. I think like a Grateful Dead fan and what's that song? Not Casey Jones, but the one that was big on the radio.
Touch of Grey.
Do I have to edit out the way you got to that?
Yes.
Because she was like, silver. Every silver lining has a touch of gray. Touch of gray. So let's go to the remainder of our talk with Punko's Pod, and a reminder to our patrons. This second half doesn't have that many removals for time, but at this point, you can go over to the Patreon feed and just listen to the uncut version of this conversation.
Nice. I'm excited.
Sorry for the person I became.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to look at? We'll go down to the fan stuff in a second. I just want to make sure any more other covers.
Bear with me. I think Brendan Dane is very interesting, as is
Okay.
Mass Anthem.
Oh yeah, I definitely wanted to play this for Jessica. I started laughing out loud, and she's used to like sometimes I'll find something that blows my mind or just hits me the right way, and so so uploaded by Brandon Dane. This is 2017.
And Josh Garstick.
Right. Well, and in the title it says featuring Josh Garstick. Let's wait till it happens.
I watch the proverbial sunrise coming up over the Pacific, and you might think I'm losing my mind.
Losing.
We'll shy away from the specifics.
Is this real?
Yes,
Is it sincere?
it is.
Absolutely it is.
But it's just heavily auto-tuned.
Yeah.
Ever been. So like they're doing great, but like I wonder what the actual audio sounded like, because I guess they weren't confident with his final vocals.
Yeah.
And so they go in and auto-tune it, and it's very clear.
Yeah, exact.
Like here, it's fine. It's going fine here, but when he hits those,
Yeah, it's the modulation.
And clearly this is edited later. Unless like they did one master shot where they're actually no, he's lip syncing.
Good video quality though.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing.
He's
like,
shredding too. He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can tell that he's not professionally trained in terms of singing, but yeah, he's like, I'm just on board with it because he's so earnest. Like he's got the bushy fringe, he's got the guitar hanging up on the wall, like he knows exactly what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that it doesn't quite meet that target necessarily.
Yeah.
Maybe he should be the guitarist and not the singer.
Right. But right here it's
Sometimes-
going fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's like it's just a rhythmic thing. It's not really. There's not a lot of theatrics with the singing on this part of the song, so
Yeah.
he's doing fine.
Whereas like those two British kids, like the one who was singing, he had like a certain level of vibrato in his voice that
Yeah.
really worked for it. Like
Yeah.
it just, yeah. And those kinds of people make me sick because I wish I could be.
There was one really cool cover. I don't think you guys marked.
The other one I really liked was Mass Anthem, the one that was like matched up with
Oh yeah,
David. That
we'll
was a
play
good
that while I try to look for this.
Was there a acapella thing, or was that a different?
Oh, there is an acapella one. I won't torture you with that. Jessica hates acapella.
one. There is something like a very specific like pain about listening to
Yeah.
acapella. Like it's Punisher music.
I'm gonna skip ahead a
This was-
little. Although this guy's voice, he sounds exactly like he's a really good John Foreman, the lead singer of Switchfoot.
Yeah.
voice here.
Yeah.
Like
Those are the deepest necks on their shirts.
I don't know if he can do every Switchfoot song like this, but if John Foreman ever left Switchfoot and they wanted to do a Journey thing, I feel like these.
Do they all have the same haircut? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've all got the same loose neck tees, like the same,
Yeah, it's the deepest necks.
It is.
they're all dressed like cool youth pastors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's rap about Jesus.
They're about to sit backwards.
Yeah.
That level of you. But I genuinely love this because like Switchfoot was one of the few sort of crossover bands between my music and the more secular kind of stuff, I suppose. Yeah, and I genuinely like "Dare You to Move" is a gorgeous song.
Yeah.
And so
And
Yeah.
there's a source, yeah.
yeah, this is gorgeous.
This is like really good.
Those harmonies, my goodness.
And this is also officially published. It's on streaming sites and stuff.
Ooh, okay.
I always
Nice.
try to note when something has done the actual due
87,000
diligence
views.
of being published. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to just like putting something on YouTube or SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And I think all these guys were contestants on season 37 of The Bachelorette.
They're very wholesome. Like, I would trust them to house sit for the weekend.
So here's the other one I was thinking of before we got on that one. This is like, so I guess this band didn't go anywhere. It's not Real Friends, the band, I don't think.
No.
But confusingly, this band was called Friends. It looks like they were like a regional but very professionally put together punk band in
Yeah.
2011. Confusingly, their website was called We Real Friends, which is like, oh no,
Yeah.
we are all, their website was called We Are All Friends, which really
Yeah, we're all
confused me and
friends.
made me think that they were real friends for a minute. I was like, oh cool, Real Friends covered Relient K. I'm like, wait, no. I got really confused. So the sound quality recording isn't great, but I think the professionalism and the aggression they put into this cover comes through. And my note was they kind of like easy chord it like 10%.
Yeah.
Like this, they I never would think of Relient K as like a defend pop punk subgenre type of band, but like this band took the defend pop punk and kind of injected it. into this song.
Oh, I love it. That's
just-
another sort of. Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say I wish the recording was a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I
a
tried
little
to look
underwater.
at it, but needless to say,
And there's no shows where you're standing at eye level with the band.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on that. Like, and that's a very sort of specific gap in my.
It's just local stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, I would have loved to have gone to like a proper like house show kind of thing. That's so good. Props to the guy in the stripy jumper, like he's getting properly into it, and the rest is sort of.
And their website doesn't exist anymore.
I know.
No.
I tried to have a look, but
Yeah.
time's. Wow.
Nah. And I also wanted to play this one for everybody. So this is a church choir, but there's a slight twist on it. It's like a full rock band performance accompaniment to a church choir.
I was about to say, like, is that a track or? But no, there they are, right there.
This is uploaded by 8 Nate Wait.
The audience is
I wish it
into
didn't start with the solo, because when it's everyone, it shouldn't have started with the solos. It would be Galaxy Brain if it just was everybody singing at once.
Yeah.
Wait till it gets there. Here we go.
Oh my god.
It's almost it. They're doing half. Here we go.
Oh my god. I literally have chills. That's so sweet.
And I love that the teacher or whoever is actually conducting. She's waving
like
her hands.
so into it.
Yeah.
Really into it.
But
Oh,
I've
that's
never
really sweet.
seen like a pop punk rock
Yeah.
cover with 20 people singing.
20 children.
20 children.
singing.
But I'm like, this could be the future of like pop punk. This could be
Yeah.
like 20 lead singers singing in unison. Throw out
That's
the
like-
solos at the beginning. Like just make
Yeah.
everybody sing at once, like gang vocals, but make
Exactly.
that your band.
Because I was literally about to say, like, that's part of what I love so much. And we've talked about this separately on the pod, like, what we love so much about pop punk and that mentality is like arm in arm with your friends and like
Yeah.
singing in unison. But that's elevated it, because generally as a rule, I tend to find children's choirs really creepy. Like,
Yeah.
I know that Taylor Swift, like, she did a single, Only the Young, that came out with her doco last year. And like, it's a gorgeous song, but there's and then a kid's choir kicks in. I'm just like, this is gross now. Like, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies for some reason. But
You
that
know
was
that, Jess?
Do I know what?
Do you know what she's talking about?
No. I
So
haven't
we have
dove
an
that
interest.
far back
Our
into
history with Taylor Swift, and we've touched on this a little in our podcast, is like
yeah,
Jessica specifically was anti-Taylor Swift. Like bought into the whole like she's what's her name from Mean Girls, like she's a mean girl and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
let's not Taylor Swift, ew, whatever. She plays country and whatever. I don't like her, and she's like mean to everyone. I don't care. Well, we don't like Taylor Swift. So I'm like, okay, we as a family in unity, this is a no Taylor Swift household. Well, now Folklore came out and Jessica got on Folklore, and suddenly she's like, oh, I like Taylor Swift now. And I'm like, you trained me to hate Taylor Swift for 10 years.
Folklore and Evermore are amazing. I'm sorry.
bloody good albums.
I thought you were going to mention like the conspiracy theory that Taylor Swift is the clone of Xena LaVey, the daughter of the leader of the Satanic Temple.
Which
Well,
I
not
would
that.
It's like, look at the pictures though; they look the same.
be 100% on board with that if that were true. But yeah.
She really is the Serpent Queen then.
Yeah, like usually children's choirs, I'm like, absolutely not. But that genuinely gave me chills. That was so sweet.
What was the J-pop group that had like 50 members? It's like you could do that, but then also add just some guitars and drums and make it a pop punk band.
Basically, like every pop punk song should have some form of gang vocals.
Let's move to Japan and do baby metal, but we'll do it with pop punk instead.
Beautiful. Oh, where was the
Were there any other covers?
Bear with me.
I don't know if it's in there was the karaoke guy.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the karaoke videos. Okay.
Yes.
Let's do, because karaoke also is a good Venn diagram of like transitioning into the fan videos after that.
Yeah.
Karaoke bar.
Oh,
yeah, I'd never seen this ever in Relient K. I have seen the karaoke, because Coverbot and karaoke companies also kind of go hand in hand, especially in this day and age. So I have seen one or two middle Relient K songs done by karaoke companies, but I'd never seen an actual karaoke bar video.
Yeah.
So you wrote some notes on this. Love the girl in the pink dress and Uggs. So much secondhand cringe. These are Emma's notes. But also props to the guy for having the courage to film himself bombing at karaoke. So this video is amazing. It takes a while to get going.
Oh, wow.
There's a reason why we do karaoke in a little like booth by ourselves, because I just have no guts to do that in front of someone. So good on him.
We kind of have both of those, although I feel like maybe only in the big cities would you have the booths.
Yeah.
Who knows where there's I don't know if there's any reference to where this is.
This might be St. Louis because they've got a giant Stanley Cup Finals from the year the Blues won in the background. Okay. So,
well, there you go. Jessica knows sports. Okay.
Just the girl in the pink. Like, I'm obsessed with her. She's so great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if
this
wearing
scarf or whatever is like a choice.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know if wearing Uggs to a club or like a karaoke bar is more prevalent in the US, but I love that, like, ultimate comfort.
I think, this might not even be like a proper karaoke bar. It might just be a bar that has a karaoke machine.
Yeah, I think it is.
And they do a karaoke night. And then people just start walking in front of the camera. So there's possibly two things happening here. Sometimes karaoke bars will have like a camera set up and record it, and like they can get you the footage. Yeah. And then so that might be what's happening here, because it's one static shot of the wide of a lot of the bar, and people just wander in and out of this guy's stage.
These
like there's
two just swaying.
And then two people just start standing in front of the camera while he's. And
I think it's him filming it. Like I think it's his phone.
I think if you scroll down, the description is just.
Oh, okay.
Because he basically is like, didn't they see the tripod? Like,
yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So that it's not. So it is the worst thing. It's not the possibly nicer thing.
That's like you try to give him like as much room.
And it's the acoustic version. It's not even like he's doing the punk version. He's doing the acoustic version, and nobody's paying attention.
Those white socks with those sandals.
Oh yeah,
that's what he gets for.
He's wearing socks with sandals as well.
That is a look. His surfing looks tonight.
He also said that. I'm pretty sure he said, didn't realize this was the acoustic version.
Oh.
Go down to the comments.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's the comments. Yeah, it was
acoustic, so it threw me off. It was acoustic, so it threw me off, but I uploaded it anyway.
Exactly.
If it was I hope someone I'd be better.
Aww.
Oh, we didn't say this is uploaded by Lightmare X Stream.
Yep.
I was trying to give the credit.
Yeah.
So he's the nightmare to the darkness, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And people are like talking in front of his camera. People just walk right across this. It's not even a stage, but there's no reverence to his corner. They're walking right past him.
I know.
He's trying so hard to get over.
But he's a trooper. This is definitely not a karaoke bar. This is a sports bar, because you can kind of see on the left of the image, like the larger tables. Like this is just a sports bar, and they had a karaoke machine. This is awful. I mean, he's doing great, but it's awful that like no one around him could care.
Well, what? I mean, I'll ask the question. Do you think many people there know Relient K? Like, would that wouldn't be Relient K's audience, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
No.
Like, I'm honestly
And
surprised.
nobody listens. And he put the microphone away and he walked off and waved and nobody did anything.
Reacted.
He looks like a guy I worked with, and the guy was kind of as sad.
Oh no. I appreciate his dedication to the art, like, because the rest of his channel is very much just like anime, like fan videos and stuff.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure, like, I just skimmed it, but
It's a lot of Persona 5 he plays, which, look, I've finished that game 3 times. So.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I clicked the church one by mistake. Well, real quick, this one I'll play real quick, but here's a guy doing the actual rock version.
Oh, that was just someone having a...
Exactly.
And there's a football game right behind him.
Football game behind it.
That's kind of a nice move by the venue owners, because like it'll draw eyes.
Yeah.
And they'll think they're looking at me and be like, yes, like I'm really getting some eyes on me right now.
Naturally, my eyes just always go to a turned on television. So like I'd be watching the direction.
That's a very kind move by the management.
Okay. So then here's the church karaoke night.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I lean
and
away
this,
from the
this seems like a somewhat, I don't know what denomination this is, but with the symbols on the wall.
This looks like a funeral home. Huh?
Well, yeah, it does.
I thought it was a frat house to begin with. Alpha Omega.
Yeah. The Greek letters on the wall is odd.
It must be like a more orthodox denomination, although the boy's wearing very emo clothes and the girl's wearing somewhat more like conservative clothes.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, Pete bent over there. Is he trying to act cool or is he being punished for this? Is this punishment or is he just trying to look cool? And he doesn't quite understand what cool is.
And they seem the drunkest of all because they're just so manic. It's just insane. The camera just turns sideways because I guess she thought it was funny. Like, I'll turn the camera sideways. This is 2009, so it's not a camera phone. No. So it's not like, oops, my phone didn't orientate correctly.
Oh.
Do they think they're taking stills when they do that?
Maybe.
And he's got one of those beanies that has a peak on it.
Yeah.
And it's blown out audio too, which just adds to the chaos.
It's beautiful. I want to know where he ended up specifically, because I would not be surprised if he sort of defected from the church in a couple of years' time.
He ended up being the sex symbol from Fall Out Boy.
Every girl who's run across the camera is wearing like a dress, so this is like everyone's wearing a dress. No girls are wearing pants, so this is like a more orthodox.
Yeah,
except
definitely.
This boy.
The boy's wearing jeans and emo clothes and like an emo hoodie, but I gotta charge my camera. Jeez, my computer battery in a second. So it's just that's fun that they can cut loose once in a while, even though they have to wear dresses.
You know why? It kind of like gives me Mormon vibes almost.
It's just giving me very specific like sense memories of like the few times I was exposed to like youth group culture at my school, like just the very conservative, but we have lots of fun here. It's like it's a very interesting sort of feel. Like I was sort of like that girl, just like I knew you in high school. Oh man, but I'm just trying to think what else there was. But
I mean, we're sharing their screen, so we can't scroll.
That's true. I know. I don't
know.
What happened?
That's okay.
They're sharing screens so they can't scroll through their list.
That's totally fine. I pulled it up on my phone, I'm pretty sure.
I can shut that off for a second.
No, all good.
I'm just trying to get my computer plugged in. There we go.
All good.
Plugged in. Yep. Okay.
I think, like, for me, the next one I want to look at, and it won't translate very well to podcast, but it's the kid who's lip syncing.
Oh yeah.
And like 2 cameras that he swaps between. It just makes me so happy.
Yeah, that was insane.
It's the cursed video of kid lip sync.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to
what?
Share screen. And this
Please do.
okay.
He is a real performer. I want to find him because this video is like
he's
13.
Yeah, he's real young. He looks young.
Yeah.
He's got a really full room with posters everywhere. There's a Spider-Man 3 poster. There's some doves on on like a long poster there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's play video by Roomy Inc. Oh, Roomy Inc. That was such a confusing looking word. Roomy Inc.
Roomy Inc.
Oh, and that's the name of the channel as well, for sure.
Is this the one as well where it's... Oh, yeah, the Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero controller, yeah, nice.
So he's like a young boy, and he's just got tons of stuff in his room, playing the video game controller.
The long sleeve shirt underneath the regular shirt as well.
And it's just like a guitar shirt. It's not like it's just guitars on his shirt. Like his parents were like, "You love music. Here's a shirt with guitars on it."
You like the rock and rolls? Like your idol, Chuck Billy? Chuck Berry. Chuck Billy's the lead singer of Testament.
Yes. Whoa, the editing in this is fantastic with the snap
I'm pretty sure he's holding some sort of a remote as well.
Yeah.
It's
He's doing this in a 2-camera shoot, and he snapped to turn to the camera and went, "Stop right there."
I was saying to Sam when we watched this, like it's proto TikTok. Like, he did TikTok before it was shit.
This is also example one for why I'm very glad to be as old as I am, because I would have done stuff like this.
Yes.
And that would be the thing that would keep me up at night, remembering I did this.
I made videos like this, but thankfully there was no YouTube for me to upload them to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank goodness, because there would just be so much awfulness out there.
Yeah.
And this is also an early YouTube video. This is 2008.
Yeah.
And that's just 2 years into YouTube.
Zoom into his mouth.
And I love that the master shot has lead MCMP/MJPEG.
What?
This is like a Tim and Eric sketch. It's so perfect.
Yes.
But it's and the fact that it has the decoder watermark on only one of the 2 shots is like also such a
What? Whoa, he just got so animated. What was that little dance move?
I feel like this is not. I feel like he's playing it. He knows what he's doing. I don't think this is completely, because I see a lot of these type of videos, and some of them are people being unself-aware. He's self-aware here.
Do you know what event took place? Was it late 2008, early 2009? The Dark Knight. This kid would have been so into The Dark Knight. He would have been so into Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, yeah.
I can see it. Do you want to know how he got his scars?
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm obsessed with that video. I love it so much.
It's not even like mockery. Like,
no,
I genuinely
love him.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the stop motion film was okay. I've seen stuff like that.
It was the story of it being a US soldier goes to like a German based in 1943 to steal a chip or something is so weird. Why is it paired with Who I Am Hates Who I've Been?
Narrative,
And it's definitely shot on iMovie because these are iMovie preset fonts.
Yeah.
And he also, and I'm assuming it's a he, but like he also extends the intro to keep the title cards going on, so you know. No, so you understand what the story is, and why this song is so important to the story.
Oh, there's the cut. So it's like a Lego set, and then it's non-Lego toys walking around doing stop motion. It's very detailed stop motion.
Yeah.
It's very good. I didn't actually watch the whole thing.
Like, for the 5 months it must have taken them to do this, I feel sad that they only got 49 views.
Yeah.
I hope they got a job on Robot Chicken. So.
Yeah. This is uploaded by J_WAL. and they did the one of two things that sometimes happens where it's Relient K one word. Like no space between Reliance and K, so maybe that prevented them from. Because sometimes other people in other videos, I always have to search Relient with an A, Reliant spelled correctly, to look for fan videos that way.
Although this was 2018.
I think hold on.
Yeah, it's
2017.
So he made it in 2017 and uploaded it in 2018.
That was took him a year to do.
Yeah. So that's
I'm looking at this and I feel like I've just been wasting quarantine and not making stop motion fan videos.
So good.
And this was my favorite AMV of the day because it's the most inappropriate from a character point of view. Like I said, there's a million. So literally think of any character from the history of television, anime, and video games that turned from a villain into a good guy, and there is an AMV for this song to that character on YouTube. Then I found this one for Randall, the purple bad guy from Monsters Inc. But this doesn't.
It's like he's nothing.
But it doesn't work because he's a villain the whole time. He never turns. He never has a turn. But they take little moments where he like shakes his head and it's like he's remorseful. But he's really shaking his head like, no, I didn't hear someone walking up behind me.
Yeah. Like I kind of want to know what final shots they use because we watched Monsters Inc. again recently.
I love that movie so much, but Boo's drawing of him just gets me every time. So I'm glad they put that in there, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, why is someone being a Randall apologist? Like he's the bad.
No, see, they took a sad shot there.
Yeah.
Oh, black and white.
And that's the thing, like the filters they put on and like sort of slow-mo and stuff. It's just like, what is going on? Like this guy
a moment here. Okay, I'm trying to remember what bridge or breakdown. Oh, it's the slow down part. Okay.
I think the person who made this just hates children. Also, 46,000 views.
Whoa.
What?
What?
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
How?
I guess we should watch.
He's terrible.
So the end of the slowed down section, it cuts to a black and white, like slow look at his sad face, like he's thinking remorsefully. It's right here. Oh my gosh, YouTube is... Here we go.
He's remorsefully reading his newspaper.
Yeah.
Stucks down.
Jordan Johnson 7 years ago said, I love Randall. He's so misunderstood. He just tried to fit in like we all do at some point. I'll always be a Randall fangirl. He makes my heart beat every time I see him. I don't care what anyone says. I love him.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
So I guess there's a whole like thing out there of like people who have headcanons that Randall is misunderstood, which is absolutely not in the movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe if you go back and look at the joke of him being in the prequel, like the joke in the prequel is he like got so shunned for like, it's a joke because he's not even a main character in University, but there's a throwaway joke of where, because at some point he gets treated badly, like that puts him on the path to be a villain, but it's not even a real setup. It's a joke.
No.
It's for the fact that he's the bad guy in Monsters Inc.
There's actually a lot of evidence against him being quote unquote pure evil. So At least according to Shark Lover 123.
Whose image, whose profile pic is Bruce the Shark from Finding Nemo.
Would you mind expanding the comment? I just want to see what they say about water noose, because like that's not good enough. Like the standard you walk by is the standard you accept. I'm sorry,
but like even in the original Monsters Inc., he is just bad. There's no why am I bad? I'm just bad.
Oh, that's far out.
So
no.
there's people love Randall and they think he was misunderstood.
Wow.
He tried to kill a little girl. What do you?
I mean, as Jordan said, she loves him and her heart skips a beat when she sees him.
He's got the Steve Buscemi eyes, so like
he's got the Steve Buscemi voice
exactly.
as well.
Like Randall is Steve Buscemi, basically.
Except the real Steve Buscemi is delightful.
And my heart skips a beat when I see the real Steve Buscemi.
Oh, the fruit basket one was...
That was wonderful.
Oh, so yeah, this is something I discovered only recently, the idea of cosplay music videos, where someone does a cosplay for an anime character and then goes out and shoots a full music video in their cosplay.
For me, it's the fact that it was released in 2019, which I did not pick up on. Uncle Sam noted that.
Yeah, they should have known better in 2019. So sorry.
But yeah.
So is their display picture the actual character?
Don't think so. No, it's just them.
Yeah.
And so, because like I loved Fruits Basket as a teen, and Kyo was my favorite character, but she does not tell me anything. I probably like not sure if those are the correct pronouns, but like they don't tell me anything about Kyo as a person.
It's just looking sad.
It's just him walking around being angry. Or remorseful.
I saw something and it's nightmare fuel and I kind of want to know what it is.
Ooh.
What is going on here?
It's a Hellsing character.
I seriously thought that was like one of those sex doll things.
Oh.
That's what I thought I was looking at.
So Bread Robin is the name of this channel. And I guess she's a cosplayer and also likes DC Comics because I was looking at some titles. And this is a cosplay of a Hellsing anime character, but because she's like in the thumbnail so far back, her skin looks porcelain and perfect. So she doesn't look like a real
plastic.
In plastic.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to like the anime characters that should be lesbians. Like that's really important stuff. Like yeah.
So was there anything else you guys wanted to go over? Because I have one that I saved that I didn't want to tell you about, but this is what I figured we'd end on.
So,
beautiful.
well, I'll go through my favorite one was the Final Fantasy VII, the two Final Fantasy VII ones.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which was the animated movie.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game. And then Final Fantasy X and X2. I want to dedicate this to the love of my life. I'm sorry I let my depression get the best of me. I let my past haunt me. I had a hard time forgiving and letting go. I let that pain take over, I guess. It took me some time to heal, but I'm ready to move on. I feel like this feeling of my old self again. Thank you for never giving up on me, my love. Like, okay. But then why is it also played to Who I Am, Hates Who I've Been, and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
Maybe that okay, so this is uploaded by sorry, this is difficult to control this. This is uploaded by 0 Point Sanity. And maybe whoever 0 Point Sanity is apologizing to, maybe this was a gift. Maybe the person who needed the apology loves Final Fantasy and loves Relient K. Or maybe they don't.
They were the bad friend Teason in there.
They have bad friend Sanity.
And then the other one, it's the one thing that it had me cackling was just one of the comments, because it's like about like Final Fantasy X2, which is like the female characters and they're in a girl group. It's like the bottom comment, and it's basically like you know who's hotter than these characters? Everyone. Nobody asked this. You know who's even hotter than all of
real
these
people. It says real people.
Real people. Thanks.
You know who's hotter than all these people combined? Real people. It's like this. It's like, what? Stop looking at cartoons. Why are you looking at jerking off at cartoons? It's like I'm just watching it.
Which tells me one thing, that Cyberdog into this, but is ashamed of being into it.
Yeah.
Nobody else is saying how like sexy they are.
This video is from 13 years ago, at least.
Yeah.
This comes up a lot because, eventually YouTube had their proper tree system of comments and replies. So sometimes with these older videos, you get like a weird thing where it's just one person's conversation with someone or one person's argument in a comment from a YouTube video from 10 years ago, but maybe the other person deleted their comments or deleted their account and their comments were lost. So you just get one person yelling at a vacuum. It's like, no, Shadow is blood. No, Randall is done.
I like to think Cyberdog just came out with that on his own, just out of nowhere. Just being like, no, guys.
It's incredible. Bless you, Cyberdog.
What is Cyberdog doesn't have any videos.
Okay.
But Cyberdog loves Daft Punk. I hope they're doing okay right now since they just broke up.
Oh no!
Oh no, Cyberdog.
Cyberdog loves Gabriel Iglesias.
Sweet. Okay, so he has a workout playlist. That's cool.
Upbeat rock.
I thought the upbeat rock was. I thought the person on that was Ben Shapiro. It's going to be like.
I'm keen to see what their stupid kid playlist has on it because it looks like it'd be pretty good.
They have an Alkaline Trio playlist.
Bloodhound Gang /
Lonely Island. Bloodhound Gang / Lonely Island. That famous duo.
The antithesis to one another. Black Eyed Peas.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh my goodness.
And it's got Muse.
Sweet.
It's the soundtrack.
Okay. Yeah.
It's their 3 favorite songs from the soundtrack to 10 Things I Hate About You.
They couldn't get the rights to the other 7.
Yeah.
True. Oh my goodness. But I think I could honestly do this for hours.
Well then let's end on the piece de resistance as far as I'm concerned. I didn't put this in the list so no one would know about it.
Hot married couple. Well, that tells me all I need to know.
I don't know. I think he's done. No, he's done better.
Hot married couple. It's called Hot Married Couple Sings Coronavirus Parody Song, uploaded by J. Mark Schwarzenruber. And it has the COVID-19, learn more stamp on it from YouTube.
I hear the proverbial knocking on my door as you come to say hello. You might think I'm losing my mind, but I must shy away from human contact, cause I don't want you to catch what I have. So you'll see my lungs in the saddest state they've ever been. It's your fault I've got COVID-19. Stop right there.
Why?
Exactly where I got it. 6 feet long, well I never should have crossed it. Stop right there, no, I never should have hugged you. It's the very moment that I wish that I could take back. I'm sorry for the problem I became. I'm sorry that I kissed my grandma this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's a little rough, right?
When are you going to get them on the podcast?
I know. Luckily, It's only a minute and a half.
You're also a married couple that enjoys the
Exactly.
They might be listeners for all I know. I can't imagine they are, but
wow.
Wow. Oh, we don't actually have the coronavirus yet. Hugs and kisses. Ooh.
You lost me at titling it Hot Married Couple.
I know.
Did you think that would get you more views?
Oh, and this is early in it for America. This is March 21st. This is just like as lockdown was hit. And so this is like, oh, this won't last forever. Oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, I kissed my grandma. Yeah. What are we at? What was it? 500,000 people? I don't even remember anymore.
That's the thing. Like, this makes sense within that context, like the sort of jaunty, like, like, what a time to be alive. But my God.
It's like when you see people that are like, they do like the videos going into Walmart and they're like, haha, I'm not wearing a mask because I'm not going to. And then it's like, oh, they died from corona.
Oh my God. Ha ha ha, this is great. Hashtag
poor grandma. 11 months ago.
So instead of grandma got run over by a reindeer, now it's just like grandma, now she dead.
Grandma got wiped.
Grandma got kissed by me and I had COVID and I was asymptomatic.
Oh. I have
an all-around YouTuber clapping hands.
If you ever interview them, can you get us back on and so we can just ask why? Like, why?
I gotta hear how this
absolutely.
Yeah. Here's the last 17 seconds.
Cause who I am is quarantined. Who I am is quarantined.
That piano tone is perfect for this song, though. It's right off the album. Oh, we're having fun.
Hilarious.
Bye, Grandma.
Dead people.
I can't understand the tone of it, though. Like, are they mocking coronavirus, or are they on the side of, hey, let's be aware of coronavirus?
I honestly think it was the sort of the same energy as back at the beginning of the pandemic, where people were like doing those memes of like how they had the diagram of someone washing their hands to like X amount of seconds of a song, but people were like putting it to like shitpost kind of things. Like,
right.
I'm picturing that same sort of energy where it's like, we believe that this is real and like we're cautious of it, but also this is a bit weird and sort of...
This will pass in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just went and downloaded it right away. I have a YouTube download page I use, and I was like, I'm going to download this right now just in case it gets deleted.
Yeah.
I want a record of this. When COVID started hitting, and I go to Reddit all the time to come up with meme ideas. I kind of like comb through the meme Reddit subreddits just to get an idea of what's like getting popular and stuff. And when coronavirus was hitting, everyone started making coronavirus memes. And then about a week after that, everyone was like, stop with the coronavirus memes. Yeah. But it was like this thing like, okay, it's going to be over soon. Just stop with the coronavirus memes. It's like, no, you have no idea. We're not even near.
Oh no. Like it's,
So now this podcast is going to be stamped with one of those auto links of here's information to the CDC.
You're going to get flagged on Twitter.
Yeah.
Learn more about the coronavirus. Well, yeah, full disclosure, we are fully pro-vax. We're going to get vaccinated.
Oh, as soon as we can.
Yeah.
We're on the bottom of the list, understandably, but yeah.
No. Hook it to my veins, honestly.
Yeah.
My grandma just got her first shot, so we can see her hopefully soon when she gets her second shot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can give your grandma a kiss then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unlike those two, how dare that? Oh my goodness.
Well, this has been fun.
This has been
yes.
I honestly could just review covers with you guys all day. It's been a lot of fun.
So thanks very much for coming on. I hopefully we'll figure out a way to do this again, even though you're done with Relient K songs on your show.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us. Could do this for hours.
Yeah.
I would blow out my voice, but happily.
And yeah, honestly, like I'm curious to get more into Relient K, so there's always a future crossover prospect there, and also like, love.
Well, I've got your list. I've got to look if there are any Relient K related.
No, honestly, just get in touch.
Or if there's just any non-Relient K songs you want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ethan Luck has to be on the Punkos. Ethan Luck is the third drummer of Relient K. He's on Forget Not Slow Down, and he's this guy that's been in like every Christian punk band. He's done studio stuff, but he also has been like full-time touring member with people, and he's been in the band. Like when he joined Relient K, I thought he was just like filling in because he's that kind of guy, but he became the full-time member of Relient K from like 2007 to 2013
or 14.
So there's got to be some more Ethan Luck somewhere in Punko's pod.
Awesome.
I mean, Punko's ellipses.
Yeah.
No, I do that. Do you guys ever say Punko's pod when you mean Punkos?
100%.
Oh my God,
100%. Yeah, all the time.
Because
sometimes I've said a song comes from Punko's pod volume, whatever.
Because I do that all the time. If I have to mention Sadie Hawkins dance,
I
say Sadie Hawkins pod, and Jessica's like, you mean dance? And I'm like, yes.
Exactly.
Oh, we have to do I was going to say we'll take a break and then come back with our guests, but we have to go over the music video. So should we take our break now and then go over the music video and then talk to our guests, or?
Yes, let's do all that again.